everyone? My name is Jamon McKinney, or you could just call me Juice, because that is my nickname. I believe that the Seattle Seahawks are going to win the NFC West during the 2020 NFL season. I believe Seattle is going to win the NFC West. Last year, I picked the 49ers to win this division. I was right. People gave me a lot of flack for it. So 49ers fans, I'm sorry, but I'm not picking you guys to win the division this year. I have to go with Seattle. I do believe it's going to come down to Seattle and San Francisco. Now, I picked the Arizona Cardinals to win 9 games. When I made my Arizona Cardinals breakdown and preview, a couple days ago. But I don't think that Arizona is going to win this division. I think they're about a year or two away from actually winning the division. I do believe they can be a wild card team this year. And honestly, if I had to bet money, you could probably see 3 NFC West teams in the playoffs in 2020. So Arizona has a shot to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to win the division. It comes down to Seattle and San Francisco. Now, why do I favor Seattle over the 49ers this year? I've always said I'm a quarterback guy, okay? Usually, when you have the best quarterback in your division, that means you automatically can win that division. I really do firmly believe that. We look at last year, the Green Bay Packers. They won their division because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in that division. The Saints, the Eagles, the Patriots, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Ravens. Do you notice a trend here? The best quarterback wins that division. Now, that was not the case for Seattle last year. However, I do believe that it will be the case this year. Anytime you have an elite quarterback in Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or now Patrick Mahomes, I think that Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson are in that category. You pretty much start around 8 to 10 wins based off their greatness alone. Russell Wilson has never had a losing season in his entire career. He's pretty much a lock to win 9 to 10 games each season. And I do believe that trend as far as the 49ers, winning the division last year, that will be broken this year. Why do I believe that? I think that the 49ers are going to take a step back this year. Let's look at the last couple Super Bowl losers. The Rams. They lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. They went from a 13-3 team. The year they went to the Super Bowl, they regressed this past year to 9-7 and not making the playoffs. The Patriots, the year before that, they lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. The very next year, they go from a 13-3 team to an 11-5 team. The Falcons, they lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. They ended up having the same record the very next season, so they were kind of an outlier. They went 11-5 the year they went to the Super Bowl. They went 11-5 the very next season. The Carolina Panthers lost Super Bowl 50 to the Denver Broncos. They missed the playoffs the very next season after going 15-1 during their trip to the Super Bowl. Seattle lost to the Patriots a couple years ago in the Super Bowl. They did not win the division the very next season. They regressed by a couple games. So naturally, the 49ers are, just based off of history, the last couple years, it's telling you that the 49ers are going to regress by about at least 2 to 3 games. That's basically the trajectory the 49ers are on. When we look at the 49ers schedule, going into this year, they have the 4th hardest schedule in the NFL. The Seahawks, their schedule ranks 13th in the NFL as far as difficulty. So, advantage to the Seattle Seahawks. And let's not forget, the Seahawks were inches away from winning this division a season ago. They were inches away in Seattle from beating the 49ers in Week 17. Take into account, they lost pretty much all their running backs towards the end of the season. Their offensive line was banged up, and they had to get Marshawn Lynch off the streets to help, string together a good running game. That's how bad their running back position was depleted at the end of the year. They had a ton of injuries, and they still almost squeaked out that division right there. And as far as the 49ers go, let's also look at these other few things. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best young creative coaches in the NFL. I'm not going to deny that. But Kyle Shanahan, for his career, has a losing record. Is that the case with Pete Carroll during his time in Seattle? I don't think so. Do we know for a fact that Kyle Shanahan is going to have a winning season with the 49ers this year? I believe so. But history shows that that may not be the case. Is Kyle Shanahan a one-year wonder? We're going to find out. The 49ers also lost to Forrest Buckner, lost to Emmanuel Sanders, two players that were very big keys to their success on both offense and defense from a year ago. Now, you did add Brandon Ayuk in the draft to replace Emmanuel Sanders, who I was not very high on, but I do think that Kyle Shanahan can get the most out of him by scheming him open. And I do think that in that system, he'll be a good player. You also drafted Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. I believe he has all the potential in the world, but I don't think that in his rookie season, he will give you the same production that DeForest Buckner gave you, okay? Also, Richard Sherman is a year older this year. Will the 49ers secondary be able to hold up this year? You know, I don't know. The 49ers secondary kind of has some question marks. We saw in the playoffs when they had to make plays, they couldn't do it versus Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see about that. But I like the Seattle Seahawks football team. I like the way they are constructed. Russell Wilson is the second best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. He's right behind Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is special, but Russell Wilson is a pretty darn good quarterback himself. He's got three really good running backs at his disposal between Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, and Carlos Hyde. Tyler Lockett, his number one wide receiver, had a career year last year. He had a career high in yards and catches. I believe that he will take an even bigger step this year. DK Metcalf, as a rookie, showed a lot of potential. I was very high on DK Metcalf. I did not understand why he dropped so low in the draft, but hey, Seattle took advantage of it. He had 900 yards and 7 touchdowns this past year. I believe that DK Metcalf can reach 1,000 yards this year. You got Greg Olsen, who you added in free agency. Will Disley comes back off of injury. Jacob Hollister is a very solid young tight end. Luke Wilson is a decent tight end. So you got three really good tight ends I feel good about. The secondary is pretty good. You know, Shaquille Griffin is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, in my opinion. The linebacker core, it's one of the best in football. You add Jordan Brooks, who to me was a little bit overdrafted, but based on the way Seattle operates and based on the way things are going and the way their team looks, okay, if you identify a guy that fits your system that you like a lot, why not go after him in the first round? You know, I'll just let Seattle do what they do right there. But I think the linebacker core is one of the best in football with KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner as well. I do worry about the pass rush. I don't think Jadeveon Clowney is going to return to the team. I just don't see it happening. You know, he has yet to sign with another team. If you can bring Jadeveon Clowney back, that'd be amazing. That would help this defense out a lot. But either way, I think Seattle is going to win 11 games. I think the 49ers are going to win about 10 games. So I think Seattle barely edges out the 49ers this year. I just think that they're overall a better team. Maybe not a more talented team, but when I take into account quarterback, head coach, I think that Seattle has a slight advantage. I will take Russell Wilson over Jimmy G any day of the week. The Seahawks have a very good running game. I like their weapons on offense. I think the defense is competent, even though I do worry about the pass rush. I think the 49ers will take a step back this year with a much harder schedule and with a couple players being lost as far as DeForest Buckner and Emmanuel Sanders. And I just think that history shows that the 49ers will regress by at least about a game or two, maybe 3. So, for all those reasons, I believe Seattle is going to win the NFC West in 2020. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.